If it walks like a duck, looks like a duck, and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. Occam's razor is a problem-solving principle that recommends searching for explanations constructed with the smallest possible set of elements. Meaning also that if you have a world-changing battery with revolutionary features, but you cannot show it to anybody, you most likely do not have a battery. You have a story of a battery. A battery does two things. It stores energy and releases it. That's it. The question is always how much energy and on what terms and features. Weight, size, price, lifespan, charging speed, and energy density. These features have a trade-off. If you improve something, you have to give up on something. Donut Lab came out with a super battery that they told had improved everything, without the need to give up on anything. This would be like Superman participating in the Olympics of mere mortals. First, he would run a marathon at the average speed of a 100-meter sprinter. Then he would high jump 10 meters and throw the javelin straight out of the stadium. Astonishing, revolutionary. The only problem is Superman does not exist, and neither does the super battery. Energy density of 400 watt-hours per kilogram, 100,000 charge cycles, mass production ready, and the first customer deliveries starting immediately. Almost 5 months have now passed since CES Las Vegas January, and these main claims that Donut Lab made there have not been proved or tested. Why? Because according to the known laws of physics, this cannot happen. 400 watt-hours per kilogram and 100,000 charge cycles cannot exist in the same battery. So, why did I believe they could? Because I am not a battery expert. I'm a business and sales expert. I believe revolutionary innovations can happen. I believed what I was told. I believed when Donut Lab told me they had internally tested the battery and were confident enough to make a big launch in Las Vegas. I believed when Donut Lab told me, investors and customers, that the due diligence made by one of the biggest and most reputable law firms in Finland included also technical due diligence, showing that everything works perfectly. Naive? Maybe. But in business world, you cannot be expert on everything. Sometimes you have to trust other people. Unfortunately, in this case, I trusted the wrong people. And as soon as I saw the facts do not match with the story, I started to do something. When someone makes a claim like Donut Lab did in CES last January, there's one simple request. Show me. Not a presentation, not a roadmap, not a vision, but a test result. An independent verification, the kind that any serious scientific claim requires. And then, show me the product itself. What happened instead was a test series called I Do Not Believe, published weekly, one result at a time. Charging speed, temperature stability, safety demonstration, each one carefully designed to show something, and carefully designed to avoid showing something else. The VTT test series was designed in a clever and tendacious way. They did not order the test series as a whole from VTT. because then all the test results would have been had to present together. Instead, they ordered a separate test for each feature. That way they could cherry pick and present only the results that seemed most attractive. 9 episodes so far, none of them showing the most important features, none of them showing the energy density or the charge cycles. The most important claims, the numbers that justified everything, that attracted investors, that made the room go quiet at CES, were never tested. Or if they were tested, the results were never shown. The test series was not designed to prove the super battery worked as promised. It was designed to prove that some battery existed. And you do not have to be a battery expert to know that those are two very different things. So what? What's the news here? Aren't startups always exaggerating, overpromising, and leaning forward? Well, there's another set of numbers in this story. Not battery numbers, but financial numbers. Before the CES launch in December 2025, Donut Lab was raising money at a valuation of 250 million euros, telling investors this was the last and unique chance to get in at this special price, that soon the valuation would skyrocket as the super battery was about to launch. After the launch, in February 2026, they were raising money at a valuation of 1.25 billion euros. Fivefold valuation in a matter of weeks. What changed? Nothing was delivered, nothing was independently verified, no customer had received a product, no energy density or charge cycle tests had been published, the contents of the battery had not been revealed. What changed was the story. The I Do Not Believe test series wasn't meant to be just a PR campaign. It was designed to be a fundraising tool. Each weekly episode, carefully selecting what to show and what not to show, was building a case for investors, creating the impression of rigorous verification while the most critical questions remained unanswered. A valuation doesn't grow fivefold because a battery exists. It grows fivefold because enough people believe it exists. Belief is worth a lot of money, as long as nobody asks the wrong questions. Since the first episode of Solid State of Truth, a friendly follower leaked me all of the Donut Lab and Verge investor communication. Here are some highlights of that. The battery that defies physics. The investor letter describes a battery that charges from 0 to 100 in minutes, never loses capacity, cannot explode, and costs a fraction of anything currently on the market. The letter then adds, almost as a confession, it sounds too good to be true. The certifying authority that validated these figures is never named. The company that developed the technology is never named. The investment Donut Lab made to access this world-changing technology, 300,000 euros. For context, Toyota has invested over $15 billion in solid-state battery development, and they still don't have a commercial product. Quantum Space has raised over $2 billion, backed by Volkswagen, BMW, and Bill Gates, and they are still in pilot production. 300,000 euros. A pipeline is not a sale. 6 weeks after CES, Donald Lab reported a 1.2 billion euro sales pipeline to its shareholders. What it did not explain is that a pipeline is a list of conversations, not contracts, not letters of intent, not purchase orders. The 1.2 billion number was the one sent to the shareholders. Then they also reported of a 500 million wait pipeline, but that figure was buried in the same paragraph. Anyhow, both of these figures are approximately as accurate as ones that could come out if a blind drunk monkey would choose a number by throwing darts. One of the investor letters claims the Verge TS Pro is the world's first solid-state battery vehicle designed for serious production. No independent verification, no name testing authority. The letter was distributed to over 1,000 shareholders without the legally required investor prospectus, while actively soliciting new investment. And the Verge motorcycles themselves, all deliveries have been pushed to Q4 2026. The world's first is not yet in anyone's hands. Next week, I'm gonna tell you what happens when you keep on asking the wrong questions. Every decision has its consequences. And next week, you will know what they were in this case. We're talking about very serious things here. But here's one thing to lighten the mood. Because, as my late grandmother used to say, ilo silmää, vaikka syön märkänis. That was Finnish. Translate, poorly. But basically the idea behind that is don't worry, be happy. So, we have opened our own merchandise store. The solid state of truth has invented something so peculiar and interesting that we just have to share with you. So please check it out. But please remember, battery is not included.